Shalom everyone, Shavua Tov and Chodesh Tov. It's a new day, it's a new week, it's a new month. We're starting, the new moon will be tonight, although the Rosh Chodesh is only Tuesday and Wednesday this year. However, this is transformation is that the last 2 months we've been under the power of the two signs of Capricorn and Aquarius. And that was along those 6 weeks of Shovavim, which is to go back and pay. Payment. Pay for all the karmic debts, all the stuff. Get faced with your debts that you came to this world with, and really going through the process, which is, in a nutshell, that was 6 weeks in a tikkun in a nutshell. Right? We're here in this world to enslave ourselves from the physical reality. So the first process was, there was it's multi-lane process, but the main lane process was our consciousness about perception, the perception that we have of reality. And what does it mean? If we are here as a soul coming into a body, however, we need to overcome the body consciousness and not just overcome, but harness the body consciousness into the work of becoming co-creators. And the fact is that it's all about one thing, nothing else. It's all about our relationships with the light. Nothing else. You can call it the Creator, God, the Almighty, whatever. But remember, this is the book of Shemot, the book of names. It's all about the names we're calling whoever is running this universe and our lives, and to understand that He's running everything, really everything. Even what we think that He is not running because it doesn't look right. The fact that it doesn't look right is our interpretation only. If it happened, it had to be right. Do you want to justify? I don't want to justify anything. You have to understand that finally we are all on a course of learning how to redeem ourselves from our own narrow little tiny box called Egypt, or overcoming the disturbance that is called Pharaoh, in Hebrew Afra. It's all about it. Disturbing what? It's all about disturbing our connection with the light. So, if we are learning through these parashot to realize finally that the love of the light toward each one of us, even towards the people we can't stand that much, okay? He loves them also, unconditionally. And the fact we said that they are not so nice, they didn't come to that stage of fruition. The sweetest, soft, smelling fruit, good smelled fruit, doesn't look that well most of its life on the tree. Correct? So, if you look at the person and you realize that the first thing that grows on the tree is the shell, the peel, the stuff that you don't want to eat, then only in the later stage the fruit appears. The same thing with people. So I'm just going back. The fact is that the love of the Creator towards each one of us is so huge and endless and unconditional, and our life is going through the journey to realize that it's unconditional. That you can never say like, God, why are you doing this to me? You don't like me. Like you like that guy and this girl, whatever. This is idol worshipping. And we are slaves to those emotions that feel that we are discriminated, that we are shunned, that, whatever, that He's angry about us. This is all something we have to overcome. Because it's all about our relationships with the light, with the Creator. Nothing else. Which means, the moment I am that person who is a free person, I get up in the morning and I say, Modeh ani lefanecha, or Modeh ani lefanecha. I thank you, okay, that you created me and you gave my soul back to me in the morning, okay? And that moment you decide that the whole day long I'm going to connect only to the light force that is emanating from the Creator towards me, correct? Now, if I'm a free human being, a real free human being, if half an hour later, or an hour later, or 3 hours later, it doesn't matter, somebody comes to me and he insults me, or tries to hurt me, and I'm saying to myself like, wow, this guy has a problem. I made a decision in the morning that I'm going to be all day long just in an amazing relationship with the Creator, and that means all day long, including right now. So he wants me to fight with him? No. But in the moment you are full with the light of God, you look at the person and say, like, it looks like you have a problem. Do you need, can I listen to you? Can you tell me what's bothering you? Can I, let's talk about it. Do you want a cup of coffee, cake, something? Maybe you want me to take you for dinner. Or just let's sit and talk. And even not, you don't let anybody's agenda to take over your only one important agenda, which is to be online with the light. That's it. There's no other agenda. That's our job. Can we do that ongoingly, an hour after an hour, day after day, without any stop? No, we're humans. And humans fall. Okay? Only superhumans do not fall. And I don't know superhumans. Okay? Humans make mistakes. Even the ones we love the most. Even the ones we say, oh, they're so good, they will never hurt me. Humans do hurt each other. Why? Because they fall. But the question is not if you're going to fall or not. You're going to fall. The question is how soon are you going to remember where you're coming from and what's your goal, where you're heading to. And that means you fall, get up, you fall, get up, till you do it. And okay, we're over with that. This is the story. And even the last parasha, Parashat Mishpatim, that was all about dry law. If you do this, that's it, if you do this. Which means, drop the whole thing that God has something against you. Same thing, that there is a law that you're not supposed to put your finger in the socket, because otherwise you're going to get hurt, right? And whoever put his finger in the socket, I did once when I was a kid, okay, it feels like there's somebody really angry over there, really upset, okay? And don't apply that on the Creator. It's simply, that's what happens when a human being touches high voltage electricity. You can't blame even the electric company because they want you to live long and pay your bills. They don't want you to be dead, and they're not upset about you. Forget it. So it's all your own perspective and your own movie, the story you're telling yourself. And you know what? If the moment you realize you're telling yourself a story, you're showing yourself a movie, it should better be good. Okay? And you are the one who's supposed to control that. Don't blame anybody else. If you feel that you're going through a bad movie. I don't know if you've seen Life is Beautiful by Benini. That's the extreme. How people, you read Viktor Frankl's book about a man looking for meaning. The moment you create a movie that has this certainty about the goodness of reality, you're going to find reality good sooner or later. Because that's our job, to superimpose our imagination over reality. And that brings us to, so what is Parshat Terumah about? So, just to make sure that we understand, we said that Parashat Mishpatim, although it's a dry law, but it says these are the rules. You want to be a co-creator. You want to be fulfilled. You want to feel the light you need to go by the rules of cause and effect. These rules are here in Parashat Mishpatim. It's not that God has something against you or for you. Okay? He can't bribe him, says Rabbi Isaac Luria. It's all about these rules. However, These rules are saying from the beginning, no free lunches. You want to become light and a creator, you need to follow the rules. Okay? So, the moment you understand that, so we understand Parshat Mishpatim started as Moses goes into the cloud. Now it looks like we're in the same stage in the end of Parshat Mishpatim. The last verse of Parshat Mishpatim, it's Exodus 24, verse 18. Vayavo Moshe betoch hanan, and Moses came into the cloud. Vayal el ahar, and he went up to the mount. Vayi Moshe bahar 40 yom ו40 לילה. Moses was in the mount for 40 days and 40 nights. The next verse is, and God, that's chapter 25, verse 1, and the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Daber bnei Yisrael v'yikchu li terumah. Talk to the children of Israel, and they should take for me Terumah. Terumah has many meanings, which all of them are not precise in English. You can say donation, because people use the word Terumah for when you donate to a good cause, whatever, that's Terumah. You can say contribution, which is in the broader space of what's your contribution to humanity, you know, respectively to your calling. But the Hebrew real meaning of it, and that's what's the switch in this parasha. Terumah is about raising the hay. Tarom, hay. Raising the letter hay. So, as we realize, Parashat Terumah is still happening on Mount Sinai. We're still in the midst of the revelation. Okay? So, but Parashat Terumah always comes in the beginning of the month of Pisces, Adar, which is a different space, different frequency. We went from the control of planet Saturn, Kochav Shabtai, which is a big teacher, and this teacher also spanks when you're not listening, okay? He's also the big spanker, or, you know. And you go to the zone of Jupiter, which Jupiter is the planet of good luck, good fortune, everything is good, optimism, positivism. It's all about nice singing. It's like if you look in the zodiac for the difference between the signs that under or the influence of Saturn. Saturn is very serious. Life is serious. Yeah, you can be very positive, but it's seriously positive, or positively serious. It's like, it's all about being serious about it, and the rules and the laws and the rules and the laws, and there's a cause and effect, and everything is set into. And then comes Jupiter. And Jupiter is like, this is the month of Sagittarius, Kislev, and the month of Adar, Pisces, which is, it's about art, it's about beauty, about taking life at the beautiful side. It's about singing, it's about serving, it's about emotion, it's about drama and romance, and you know, that's another way to look at reality. And you know what? You have to go through Capricorn so you can afford yourself to celebrate Jupiter. That's why we had 2 months of Capricorn, so we can celebrate the month of Adar, which is, it's emotional. You can afford to be emotional and sensitive and so on. So what's in it with Parshat Terumah? Because Parshat Terumah, somebody said to me, it's physical. It's about building a tabernacle. So it starts, talk to the children of Israel, let them take me a contribution. From every person that his heart would allow him to give, you take my contribution, and that's what you're going to take from them. Verse 3, chapter 25. Gold, zahav, v'chesef u'nechoshet, gold, silver, and copper. Okay, and then verse 4, utchelet ve'argaman v'tolat shani v'shesh ve'izim, which is precious, all kinds of precious cloth. Ve'orot eilim me'odamim ve'orot chashim v'tzei shitim, Shemen lemor besamim l'shem l'mishcha. It's all about materials. And here is the story of building the tabernacle. Okay? Now, to remember, this parasha is obsolete if we're talking about the superficial text. It's talking about the building of the tabernacle, and we have there, let's see, the Mishkan, the tabernacle, and its accessories. Okay? So, V'asu Aron Atzei Shittim, the first thing is building the Ark of the Covenant. Okay? In the Ark, you put the two tablets. And the cherubim, the keruvim, were on top of it, like these angels. Then you make 25 verse 23, V'asita shulchan atzei shittim, and you make a table. On the table was lechem apanim, the special bread that was in the temple. Okay, and then verse 31, V'asita menorah zav tahor, the golden candelabra that was made one piece, one cast. Okay, with all its details, only one cut. Okay, and then after the menorah, and now it comes to the tabernacle itself. 10 יריעות, 6 מושזר ותכלת וארגמן, precious cloth, and all of this, and it has to be embroidered. The length, the size of those sheets of cloth, and it goes on about that. The cover to the tent, it was in the beginning, it was a tent, okay, and then ועשית את הקרשים למשכן, 20 קרש לפתנק בתימן ו40 מדני כסף תעשה. Now we're talking about the walls. The walls were made of wood, acacia wood. Okay, it was standing, each one of them, remember, they were in the desert, could be sandy. So each one of them had a silver block that it was standing on, so it will be stable. Okay, so that's now the walls, and then it was how you, it's all the pieces, the structure of, and then the altar, that's chapter 27, verse 1, the altar and all the accessories of the altar. And then the courtyard around, also the standing pieces of wood, and standing on silver, and basically that's what it's talking about. Some more details. Why this is obsolete? Even if the Messiah is coming in the next hour, and he rebuilds the temple in Jerusalem, he never built that. That was a portable temple, only used in the desert. Then they brought it in with Joshua to Shechem. Then it stood in Shiloh for 400 and something years, for 380 something years. And then it had some place in Kiryat Yarim, and then to Jerusalem. And in Jerusalem, they concealed it and built the temple, King Solomon. Okay? We're never supposed to build another tabernacle. What we dream is about the rebuilding of the temple in Jerusalem. Okay? So why do we have to continue reading that? Okay? The question is, what's in it for us? And that's the story. So now, let's go back to the beginning, what we said about Terumah. And this is the most important thing. Now that we understand that it's all about our relationship with the light of God, nothing else. But she said that, and you heard it, and you got upset, or you got flattered, because you have to overcome the tendency for that taking your agenda, and stay in the agenda that I'm here to be online with the light of the Creator. Okay? When you get this muscle workout properly, you are basically, as Rabbi Ashlag said, you are taking a nice walk on the boulevard. That's life for you. Because it's all about the light. There's nothing else. Everything is just parts of this story. Now, you simply got it. Now, the point is like this. When you do that, you start to realize, and that's what the Zohar is saying, Terumah. What does it mean, Terumah? So the answer is, Terumah, as we said, you can look at it as donation. You can look at it as contribution. But the real factual meaning of the word in Hebrew is coming from the verb leharim. Leharim means to lift, to bring up. Laharim, to bring up, to lift what? The hay. What is that hay? When did we get to talk about the hay? During the Exodus, 10th plague. And the Israelites, they're supposed to take the blood of the slaughtered lamb and the circumcision, mix the two bloods, and then make a letter hay on the door. One over here, one over here, one over here, so it looks like a hay. What is the hay? So again, whoever never studied Kabbalah, we're talking about the name of the Creator, Youdkevitch, which is again a name of, it's not him. Okay? What is a name? It's a kli, it's a vessel to bring in his light. So the first letter, usually Kabbalists draw it from up down, not from right to left. Up down. The first letter is Yud. Yud is small, it has no dimensions. Why? This is the source of the flow of light coming from that level that the Yud symbolizes. Now it comes down to the letter Hey, which is that's when it comes out, manifests in the spiritual world. What does it mean? All what the Creator wants to give to us. How much? Everything. Okay? Now you need to bring it down to a physical level. So you have a conduit, that's a letter Vav, that looks like a conduit, right? Like a pipe. It takes from above, bring it to below, and for us, this is basically the face of the Creator, because what do we see? When I look upwards, the Vav. Okay? Because I see the pipe. If I, with my actions, block the pipe, what do I experience? That it is dry. No flow. I'm stuck. No energy, no health, no money. God forbid. But it's all because there's a block. But how do you open the block? Oh, you have to remember. The Vav, the pipe, brings down all the bliss into the hay. And the letter Hay is the symbol of the Shekhinah, the divine presence. Bad translation. That's how they say in English, but in Hebrew it doesn't mean divine presence. Shekhinah means the one who dwells. Female, the one who dwells. So the Zohar teaches us there is the Shochen, okay, and there is the Shekhinah. There is the presence of that glory of the Creator and His light in the vessel. When it manifests through the vessel, that's called Shekhinah. When you're talking about just the essence that comes into it, you're talking about the Shochen, the power of the light. Example. When we look at the 4 letters of the name of God, Yud and Hey, Vav and Hey. The last Hey, this is the vessel that receives the bliss. But if you learn the Arizal, Rabbi Zakluria, he goes a lot to explain to us, based on the Zohar, that through our actions, we can remove ourselves from the connection to the 3 upper letters, Yud and Hey and Vav, which are the conduits of the supreme light. And because there's a law of attraction, the moment we behave in a very superficial, negative, materialistic, you just name it, whatever is not spiritual, as we said, similarities attract. The law of attraction is that you're starting to drift away from the Vav. Okay? When you drift away from the Vav, you experience a situation that is called Galut. Okay, English, exile. In Hebrew, removed. Removed. So let's say you have a problem. You're sitting in the dark. It happened to be you found the light bulb. You're holding the light bulb in your hand and you're crying. Why is it not lit? I need the light so much. Okay, what do you need to do in order that the light bulb will shine and lit the room? You have to get up, find the socket, screw it in, turn the light on. Okay? That's exactly called teshuvah. Wrongly translated as repentance. Teshuvah means bring the letter Hey back to its place. Screw it in. Okay? That's also Terumah. What is our calling? What is our job? Why does God need me to build him a very precious structure so he can dwell in the structure? Right? He's endless, he's everywhere. Why do you need a place for it? And the answer is over here. V'ikhu li Terumah, they should take for me Terumah. What's it for me, Terumah? And the Zohar says, remember, we're talking about the light of the Creator. He cannot manifest through us unless we, by the law of attraction, we have to raise ourselves to the frequency. There's a connection, there's a click. You know, when you screw the light bulb till it's like, you know, it's there. What? Okay. Now you can turn it on, and then when you turn it on, the light flows. What happens to the darkness? Who cares? Who cares? Yeah, but there was a darkness over here for 4 years, 5 years, 400 years, 4,000 years. Nobody cares. Okay? What happens with a person that he has, those people that, unfortunately, it's always about the pain and the misery and the injustice. They always find what's wrong and what's painful. And, we all have that aspect. Those people that find a problem for every solution. Okay? So what do? They're always busy with the problem. Why they can't solve it? Because they cannot focus on the solution. When you focus, it's like in spirituality, it's different than in the physical level, because in the physical level, when you turn the light on, the darkness is gone. Mm-hmm. But in your mind, to turn the light on, it means that your mind has to be focused, screwed into the light. Without every second, what about that? That can be a problem. That can be a trouble. That can be a catastrophe. That's part of the slavery we are in most of our days, right? Because who does it to us? No one. Yeah, but he said something that could... Somebody comes here with a gunpoint, forcing you to contemplate on how terrible it could be. Statistics says that 92% of the stuff we're worried about never happened. Okay? What a waste of time to be worried. I'm not saying you should not be responsible, but to be worried doesn't make you a better person. Doesn't make anybody better. Okay? And that's not your calling. Okay? Nobody pays you for it. So, in order to understand, if we didn't get it, that the whole thing, v'ikhu li Terumah, when God says they should take the Terumah for me, and there's also, what do you mean for me? Who is for me? And he says, it's basically connecting the vessel to me, to God's me, to that me that loves all of us, that created us. So what do you mean v'ikhu li Terumah? You have to take it, you have to lift it till it clicks in, and then poof, there's a light. So let's say you had a not so nice week. Okay. All kinds of stuff that you wanted to happen didn't happen the way you wanted it. Okay. All kinds of stuff that frustration, disappointment, and so on and so on. And then comes another day. And that day you find yourself on a spiritual journey that leads you into total union with the Creator. How do you feel? Elated. Terumah. Terumah means elation. Okay? Just a second, but how did that happen? Does it happen by itself? No, only when you elevate yourself. How do you elevate yourself? When you give of yourself. But just a second. But what happened? You are elated. But somebody will come and tell you, but what about those stuff you told me that freaks you out, that really frustrates you, that you're really frustrated and worried about this and this and this, just told me, but forget it. Because when the light comes in, what happens to the darkness? The point is, you have to make a choice to focus on the light, which means what do you want to become? What do you want your contribution to be? Then to focus on how tough was it? You can't do both. Oh, but it was very tough, and you know, those people were so nasty to me. Don't worry. Everything was part of the plan. Okay? Are you getting that? Can you lift yourself, elate yourself above it? How do you do it? First thing is about sharing. Giving of yourself. So but there are few levels. But what? But a lot of people, they give and they're not enlightened. So we explain it many times. When you give with expectations that the person that you gave to will say thank you or do you a favor instead, that's not giving, this is trade. You paid and you expect for something in return. There's something else. So don't say you gave. You said you paid and you're waiting for a salary or you're waiting for, return for your investment. So that's very simple. That's okay. But don't see it as a spiritual action. It's not. That's called trade. Okay? So when it become spiritual, when you give to another person, just to be on that frequency of giving. But there is an interest over here. Of course there is. But you're not dependent on the response of the other person. You are giving to the other person because you want to elate yourself, lift yourself, raise yourself, ascend to a place that is higher in frequency so you can create a connection with the light of the Creator. So yes, Rabbi Ashlock says, finding somebody who has no interest, it's easy if you're looking for somebody without a brain. Okay? The moment you have a brain, you're already calculating what's in it for you. So you can calculating, you're getting it for another person. Okay, but that's called trade. Don't think that you're going to be spiritual by giving to others and they gave back to you. That's okay, but that's a profession. But you want to be a spiritual person, that means that you give to other people. You share with other people because you want to generate that frequency of giving, because that lifts you up, that raises you, your life, your possessions, your environment. It lifts all of it, because the moment you see yourself as that person who gives and shares and overcomes, you lift everything up. Because right now you change your altitude. Now everything looks different from a higher altitude, correct? So until you make that, right? You screw yourself into the socket and then poof, the light goes on. So when you do that, that's called Terumah. But what do? You change the whole of your environment, and that's what we're talking about. In the first 6 weeks of Shmot, we learned how to become free. We learned how to create an independent relationship with God. Now, assume position. Now start, these are the instructions, how you turn your reality, not just yourself, everything you look at, everything you consider to be part of your life, how do you get it hooked in to the light? And how do we see it? If we didn't get it in now, we go to chapter 25, verse 5. After all of this, it's like, they will bring my Terumah. What do you mean, my Terumah? The Creator says, like, you guys are my vessel. That's your calling, to be my vessel. I created you so you will fill up yourself with my light. There's no other goal for life. And what's the proof? Verse 5, Ve'asu li mikdash, and they'll make me a temple. Ve'shachanti betocham, and I will dwell in them, not in it. Okay? That's what we're talking about. Which means our job is to create the vessel. And that vessel is my home, my job, my neighborhood, my country, my planet, my body. All of it, I create as that hay that lifts up, connects to the Vav, and lights and shines around. Which means it's not a materialistic parasha. It's exactly the opposite. Is not that you have to stay away from silver and gold and copper and everything that is precious. No, you have to make all of it holy. Now, and that means, as we say many times, they say that the Englishman's home is his castle. Mm-hmm. But here the Torah says that a person's home is his temple. Which means, why do you have a home? Because you need to make it a temple. How do you make it a temple? You make it Kadosh. What is Kadosh? Kadosh is when you take something that is meaningless in your eyes, tasteless in your eyes, and you you get it online, and now it's lit. That's Kadosh. Kadosh means the light, the holy light coming through. So you turn it into a vessel for the light that's called Shekhinah. That's Kadosh. Rasul Mikdash, what is Mikdash? It's a place that has been sanctified, became Kadosh. Okay? Just a second before, it was just materials you got in Home Depot. The next second, it became your sukkah, which is now, it's there. You can't see the wood, you can't see the plywood, you see the holiness. Because that's what the sukkah is about. The sukkah is not about the wood. It's not about the cloth. It's about the holiness. You created something that invites the holiness in. Mikra'ei Kodesh. Calling the holiness in. Calling the light in. This is what Parshat Ouma is. So what do you do by that? You take something that was just something, an object, a piece of matter, and you made it as a vehicle for the light of God. And that could be on pieces of material or your own self-body. The moment we do that, said, yes, there is an interest. I am doing whatever I'm doing so I can share, care, lift myself, connect to the light, and the light will fulfill me. Because I am a creature of light, and I want to have the light. Also, there is an interest. Rabbi Ashragan says, only brainless creatures walk without an interest. However, but what is the interest? You can have an interest that you want to bring the light in, or there's a higher interest, which is called lishma, which is a purpose, that you bring the light in because of one reason and one reason alone. Because the light wants to give it to you. So we have those moments that we're kind of gloomy. We are not so excited about our lives. And if you reach that level of lishma, you become happy. Just why? Because the light wants to make you happy. But what about the feelings you had before? That's not serving the purpose. Just a second. I don't need to get a PhD or an Oscar or $1 billion in order to be happy. Or maybe 1 million likes on my Facebook post or something like this. You know, aren't we conditioned that we have to do a lot of stuff in order to be happy? Yes. Mm-hmm. Till you reach the place that you are happy just because the light wants you to be happy. It takes a lifetime, sometimes lifetimes. But then you don't need anything. You just need one thing. You just remember, just a second. I need to be happy. Why? Because I make myself a mikdash, a dwelling of the light. How do we manifest it in our daily life? So that's why, again, they make me a dwelling and I will dwell in them. So the whole story of the building of the Mishkan, it's about the light dwelling in each one of us. This is the purpose of the creation. Not to be right, not to be free of karma, not to be even, to get even. No, 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 no. There's only one purpose. To be full of the light of the Creator because He wants me to. Why does He want me to? You know, I don't know His business. It's not my business. But I know in my business is that He created me so I can fulfill myself with His light, and that's called Kadosh. Kadosh is something that got that light fulfillment. That's Kadosh. Okay? By mistake, it's translated into holy or sanctified. Okay. And then one example, ועשו ארון עצי שיטים 200 אורכו, וחצי אורכו. Now they're speaking about building of the Ark of the Covenant. How many books and how many stories, how many movies were made about finding the lost Ark? Mm-hmm. Right? But the Ark is lost since, I think, I didn't count exactly, but we're talking about close to 2,800 years. You're talking about something so special that most of our history is not even there anywhere. How could you justify? So why do I have to read it? And again, in every synagogue, there is an ark. What's inside the ark? The Torah scrolls, the law. Okay? So what do you do, says the Zohar, when you open the ark? Anybody saw the movie Narnia? There was a closet. There were some people, when they opened the doors, they just saw a closet. And some people, enchanted people, they opened the door and went in, and they went into this magical kingdom. Right? So, some people go to the synagogue and they open a closet. Right. And some people, says the Zohar, they open the gates of heavens. They open all the gates all the way up to that place that the Israelites were at on Shavuot or Mount Sinai. And then you bring all of that light in, and when you take the Torah out, says the Zohar, you take all of that light and you put it in the midst of the community. Like a traditional Jewish community, the ark is standing facing Jerusalem, on the wall facing Jerusalem, right? But you don't read the Torah over there. The services and the ceremonies are not happening over there. They take the Torah out and they bring it in the midst, betocham, in their midst of the community. And the community is sitting around the bima where the Torah is being read. Okay? So the bima is the hay. that receives that light that comes through the ark, which is the Vav. And the Torah, that's why every column in the Torah looks like a Vav and starts with a Vav. That's the conduit that brings the light in. So we didn't lose the ark. We have it in every synagogue. A lot of people did lose the ark because they open a closet. Some people do have an ark because they really think and meditate and concentrate on opening the gates of heaven when they open those doors. Could be simple doors made of plywood, okay? Could be doors made of cherry wood, whatever, with plated with gold. Doesn't matter. It's the consciousness you put into it. Mm-hmm. You can take just this closet and make an ark out of it. So, how do you do that? It's the consciousness. The consciousness. And what, remember, if you've ever seen the movie Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, and there's that moment that they open the Ark of the Covenant. And this guy dresses up as the high priest, and he says a text. Nobody understands the text, because it says with heavy English accent, but the text is in Aramaic. And the text goes, Brich Shmei de Marei Alma, Brich Kitrach V'atrach. This is the text the Zohar says you have to recite opening the ark. Now, if you go to a synagogue regularly and you use the text in the Siddur, it's in your Siddur. You say it. Okay? So, what happens after they say the text? The ark opens up and this like storm of light is coming out. It burns out the bad guys, saves the good guys, right? That's what we do every Shabbat when we open the ark. Every Monday and Thursday and holidays we open the ark. Now the question is, do we open the ark or do we open just a closet? That's Terumah. You look at the physical matter and you make it Kadosh. You simply, it's called IoT, Internet of the Things. You get it online. Before it was just a dead matter. Now it becomes a living matter that is connected to the Youdkevitch and is part of the K, of the last Hey. And that's the job of a human being. To simply elevate whatever is inside you and outside you, tapping into the light, and now it shines like the light. So remember once in Toronto, we had this synagogue. In the beginning, it was horrible for me because people came with this old religious consciousness that it's all nothing. They just did a favor coming to the synagogue. And it was pretty dead. But it took a year and people started to wake up and to feel and to connect. And then it came this lady that she was not even Jewish, but she felt the energy of the ark 3 kilometers away from the synagogue. And then she started to come. And every time they opened the ark, she started to cry. She tells the ladies, in the ladies' church, you don't see the light coming out of the ark? You don't see that light? You know, how can you stand there and do nothing? It's so exciting, it's so amazing, it's so moving. Not everybody has that sensibility. But our job is to develop it. Because what are we here for? Just to eat and breathe and whatever. It's like to be Mughals. Why, people love Harry Potter. But who they side with? With the Mughals or with the Mughals are humans without charm? Or with the wizards? With the wizards. Why? Because deep inside, we all want to become wizards. Okay. So this is about the Aron. And now, the ark. And now the next thing is about the shulchan, the table. And the Zohar speaks a lot about the table, saying that now the table is the table that you eat on at home. Same table. Oh, that's just a table. No, it's not just a table. The table is basically The moment you pray by the table, you bless on the food by the table, it becomes the temple's table. What's the temple's table? That's what brings and draws the bliss from above to manifest in this world below. Therefore, if this is the table of the temple, there's, the things you don't do next to a table of the temple. That's why I know a lot of people from different Jewish families in different many backgrounds, like could be Morocco or Poland or Iraq or Yemen. When people play with a child, with a baby, they put him on the table and like, don't put the baby on the table. Why not?
It's not a table.
It's not a table. It's part of the temple. You can't take a baby with diapers and so on, put it on the table. It doesn't go. It doesn't fit. Or let's say a child sits on the table, his mother says, get off the table immediately. Why? It's like thousands of years that deep inside you understand that the table is a worship material. It's a temple, it's a holy thing. It's Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh because you bless on it. What do you do? What's the first thing you do on the table? Kiddush. That's how you start the Shabbat or holiday dinner, right? With the Kiddush. What's a Kiddush? You take just a cup, fill it up with wine. What? That's a cup with wine. And you look at it as all the holiness in the world is right now streaming into that cup. You don't see the cup anymore. You don't see the wine anymore. You see the holiness flowing into yourself, the table, and everybody around you. This is our job. Assume position. This is what Pisces is about. This is what Jupiter is about. Jupiter that was created by the letter Gimel. Right? What is the letter Gimel is about? Gomel Dalim, feeding the poor. Gimel is from feeding. That's why, how does the Gimel is written? It's a Vav. That's a pipe of light. What goes through the pipe? The light. Where's the light coming from? Starting from the Yud. Where do you find the Yud? You see the Gimel has a Yud stuck to it in the bottom? That's the light flows through. So that's why Parshat Terumah always comes in the beginning of the month of Adar, the month of Pisces, the month that is about sensitivity, holiness, flow of energy, injecting into everything you do. That positivity, like preparing for Shabbat, is a magical work. You buy the stuff, you take it off the supermarket shelf, and you say, Lichvot Shabbat Kodesh. You put it in your cart, and the frequency has been changed already in that moment. And then you bring it home, and you start preparing, you cut it, and say, Lichvot Shabbat Kodesh. Abracadabra. Avra, I create. Kadabra, as I speak. That's Adar Kadabra. We have the power. This is what Parshat Terumah is about. Turn your life into a vessel so the light of the Creator can dwell into it. It's your body, it's your table, it's your home, it's your work. And when people are looking for something, looking for that smell, that taste, because it reminds them home. Because everybody came from that place. Everybody came from the endless. Everybody came from that place that everything was light. We are being sent into exile into a body on this planet so we can find our way back. Work it out. Prove it to ourselves that we can get it in spite and because of. So this is what Parshat Terumah is about. It's all about building your life. It's not just about being free. It's about assuming position and bringing that awesome power that is waiting for us just to invite it in, into the table, into the actions, into everything. People go to your business. Why would they choose you and not somebody else? There's such a competition. Because if it smells like the light and you bring the Kedusha in, you bring the holy light in, they don't ask questions anymore. Okay, whatever you have, I want it, pack it up and give it to me because I want to take it home, because I want to feel it at my home. This is what this month is about. It's about all the thing that we, by bringing in that content of light, we raise ourselves, screw ourselves in, and then, oops, everything lights up. The biggest darkness becomes into light the moment you just have that click. That's why this month we have Purim. Everybody was separated. What does it mean? No connection, no light. The moment there was unity and love, because we want to inject the love into the gifts we give to each other, into our, whatever we do. It took 72 hours, and the light went on. And that night, the king couldn't sleep. And everything turned around like, coincidences. No coincidences. Everything happens for a reason. And when you start to command on that light to come into your life, into every of your action, you reach the purpose. Thank you so much.